my sweet friend. I am Cristina Arevalo, cake business, productivity coach, and podcaster. I help cake makers like you manage your business productively and with ease, taking control of your time and workflow to avoid stress and burnt out. I offer personalized strategies and supportive community to help you stay organized, productive, and in charge of your success. Your cake business should bring you joy, not stress. I'm here to help you build an efficient, successful, and sustainable business without feeling overwhelmed and burned out. With the right planning, strategies, and mindset, you can reach your goals, stay organized, and enjoy the journey. Let's make your cake business work for you, not the other way around. Hey, my sweet friend, if you like this episode and enjoy this podcast, there is only one thing I want from you. Please like, follow, and leave me a started review in any of your favorite podcast platform where you're listening to this podcast now. This way, this program can keep growing. The algorithm will show it to more cake artists who will benefit from it. Download the episode, share it on your social media, and tag me, and I'll gladly tag you and follow you back. I would love to hear what you have to say. You can leave me a voice message on Anchor, Spotify for podcasters, answer the questions and polls on the episode, or leave me a comment on my social media. Even if you don't like what I say, I would love to hear your opinion. And let me invite you to follow me on Instagram as at the Art K Coach or in any of my social media accounts. I'll leave you all the links in the description of this episode. Thank you so much for listening to the Art K Coach podcast. Well, hello, my sweet friends, and welcome to another episode of the Art K Coach podcast. Christina here, last episode of 2025. We made it. We made it another year. Yay! I'm so happy to still be here with you guys and to still have so many ideas and things that I want to share with you for the next year. I never thought when I started this episode, this podcast, I will be what? This next year is going to be 4 years ago. Oh my God. I think we started the episode back in this episode, the podcast back in 23, I believe. So yeah, it's going to be three years. I'm not checking dates, so I don't know if it's 22, 22. Honestly, the last 5 years have been a blur in my head. But anyway, just to tell you that I'm so happy, super happy that I'm still here with you and that I still want to be here with you and that I still have things to share with you and guests to bring on the show. There will be more guests next year as well. So I wanted to take this time today, first of all, first and foremost, to thank you. To thank all of you in the other side of this microphone who are listening to me. I don't know if you listen to me every week or every now and then, or you're just starting listening to the podcast, but whoever you are in the other side, whoever these words are getting to, I really, really want to thank you for the support, for being here, for giving me a chance to share what I love and what I know, and especially for giving me the chance to serve and to help, because that's the purpose of this podcast, and that is my purpose as a cake coach, as a cake business coach. So thank you so much for listening. Thank you for being in the other side. And this episode today is to thank you and to thank all of the people that have been involved in this podcast throughout this year. So it's going to be a bit of going down memory lane and recap of 2025. What I've shared with you. Maybe you have missed a few episodes, or if you don't know that I've talked about certain topics, so I'm going to be sharing that as well. I'm not going to be teaching you anything. I'm not going to be giving you any takeaways today. It's mainly a recap. But of course, I want to go back to our guest and tell you what I have learned from each one of them here on the podcast. So stay here with me because the last episode of 2025 is about to start. So 2025 has been quite the year. I started the year with many expectations, many goals, many things that I wanted to accomplish. And I have to say, I didn't accomplish all. I'm being honest. I didn't accomplish all, but now that I look back at when everything started in January, I feel that I came full circle to the start, and I'm gonna explain why in a second. And and now it's like, okay, that was the whole preparation for things to actually starting. So yeah, I didn't accomplish, like, yeah, check mark, I'm gonna erase it from my list. No, but this year made me be in a better place, made me be 100% ready, and made me take the right steps to achieving things. So that was a good thing in 2025. 2025, I started the year with great, also great expectations about turning 50, which I did, and nothing happened. I, I set myself all these expectations. I talk about that in a few episodes back. That, I had to be healthy, I had to be skinny, I had to be, I don't know, with more money. All these ideas that when you turn 50, you get to a point and you have to do all these things, or you have to be all these things. And what 2025 taught me is that you don't have to be anything but alive and well. And I am alive. I am well, not as great as I hope to be, but the realization of that made me be a stronger person, made me take the right decisions right now in order to change things, made me just stronger and more sure of myself, and made me realize that numbers are just numbers. We don't, I mean, the expectations that we put in our head and that we stress about are just expectations. Nothing happened. The next day after I turned 50, the role was still the same. Nothing happened. And yeah, I'm just gonna keep going. So the stress of turning 50, or the expectations of turning 50, are over, and now it's just less time. Let's just work, Christina. Let's keep going, because you have, like my friend Yvonne said, your better half coming up. So that was one thing that happened also this year. We're still active here on the podcast. I'm still active on Cake Friends Stay Creative. I'm still active on on everything that I do. But another thing that 2025 taught me is to, let's put it this way, decide how active I'm going to be, take charge of how much energy I put into things, and realize that you don't need to stretch yourself too thin to matter whatever you are, if that makes any sense. I'll explain why. I used to think that I didn't do enough anywhere, in the podcast, on the groups, on the communities, and Cake Friends, with the coaching, with the social media, with my YouTube channel, all of the things. I was like, I'm not doing enough of in anything. So I'm stretching myself too thin, and I'm not accomplishing. But this year, and that a big part of that was the break that I took during the summer, was like a recap, like refocus. And I realized that it's not about spreading myself too thin, it's about strategizing. That I keep saying this to you, strategizing and allocating the, I don't know, the necessary amount of energy to each one of the things that I do at the time that I choose to do it. And things just keep moving, and things just keep happening anyway. And you don't have to spread yourself too thin. So if you are in that point where you're spreading yourself too thin, when you're doing too much and taking in more than you can chew, um, take ownership of your time, take ownership of what you do, and just use the right amount of energy in each things, and things will keep happening. Another thing that I learned in 2025. Let's talk about the podcast now. Let's talk about all of the things that I shared with you here, and that hopefully it helped you. We talked about goal setting. We talked about, I have it here in my notes, prioritizing. We talk about clients and clients' experience, consultations. We talk about cake business management, networking, pricing. I did a few episodes of pricing this year, more than years before. We talked about AI, limiting beliefs, marketing tools, business strategy. We talked about taking a break. Of course, we talked about the DMAs, the Cake Friends Stay Creative anniversary, podcast anniversary. What else? We talk about Cake International. We had all these special episodes. So, yeah, we cover pretty much everything. Social media. We didn't cover social media too much this year, only with guests. But I didn't share too much on social media with you because I realize it's not my forte. I can give you tips from things that I learned from other people, but it's not my forte. However, that's another thing that I decided to allocate the energy needed and strategize, and it's just happening. It's just going there. So I removed the expectation from social media, and I'm just using it the best way that I can for myself. And if it works out, I will share it with you next year. It is working out. It is working out. It's just about consistency, like anything else in life. But anyway, we talked about all of these topics. Actually, you have now available, and they're public on Spotify. You have lists related to the podcast that you can check. I put together all of the episodes with guests, all of the episodes about time management, all of the episodes about goal setting. I will leave the links here on the description so you can go directly to the list, the playlist, and you have all the same topics packed in one list. So that will help you if you haven't listened to anything, or if you want to go back and check on specific topics, you will have that. Also, a lot of the episodes this year had special PDFs and downloadable material that you could use, templates. And if you haven't checked that out, go check it out on my on my web page. I changed. I don't know what I'm saying. On my webpage, it's theartcakecoach.com, and go to where it says free resources. And there you will find all the templates. And actually, I have 3 or 4 of them that are updated, and I'm going to keep updating it for next year. So go check them out. They are there for you to help you with your cake business. What else we did this year? Of course, um, the subscription channel that now it's called the Art K Coach Club. It's there for you guys to enroll, or to enroll, to be part of this club, of this special content episodes. In the special content episodes this year, I shared with you the complete time management class, and the complete business management class is actually 4 classes, 4 episodes each, and it includes business page, clarifying your business, talking about your unique selling point, pricing. So it was a great year, more to the management part in the Art K Coach Club, which is the subscription channel that you can access here on Spotify. And again, I will leave the links to the club here on the description of the episode. If you listen to the end of the episode, there is an outro at the end that explains everything, that how you can enter how you can be part of this special content club on here on the podcast. Talking about clubs, and talking about, not this year, but talking about clubs and talking about things that are happening for next year, my friends. uh, as you know, I've been talking about the goal setting challenge that is going to start on January 6th, 5th, 6th, and 5th, 6th, and 7th of 2026. It's going to be 3 days of free goal setting challenge on the Art K Coach community group on Facebook. It's free for everyone to join. No complications, no sign up. Just sign to the group. That's all you have to do. Just be in the group, be there. Ask to join. It's a private group, so just ask to join. I will say yes, because that's what I do. And I cannot wait to see you there on the 5th, 6th, and 7th of January. It's going to be at 6 p.m. Portugal time, Greenwich Meridian time, here in Portugal. And I will be sharing each day one very practical tip, and we will be talking about one very specific thing in order to set your goals, make them happen this year. Okay. But this year, guys, because I have a lot of information about goal setting, this year we're going to keep it simple and doable, because that's what my mind is set on this next year. Keep it simple, keep it doable. make things happen. We're keep making things happen this year. So I cannot wait to see you there. Please go and join. Again, the links, all of the links for that also will be in the description. There's a lot of links for you today here on the description of the episode. And I would love, love, love to see you there. And when we finish the goal setting, I have big news, guys. Big news for you coming up for the next year on the Art Cake Coach. And it has to do with sort of a club, not a club, not a membership, but sort of. So I want you to be there so I can share the news with all of you. What else? Let me see. Well, I really, really, really want to take the time to thank all the sponsors of the podcast of this year. I had some great sponsors. Some people has been with me since the beginning of this podcast, and some new ones this year. So I really want to give a big shout out and a big thank you to Delicious Magazine for just keep supporting the podcast. Saracino with their magazine We Love Pastry. Not only, I mean, they're being so supportive of my work, but I have been writing for their magazine all the year. So if you don't know, just go to the links of all the sponsors will be here on the episode as well. Like I said, a lot of links today. So Saracino We Love Pastry magazine has a free downloadable magazine, and there I write an article in each of it's a quarterly magazine now. And I write an article there each quarter helping you with your cake business. Also, the Sweet Chalet Shop. My dear Marisa, thank you so much for being so supportive of the episode of the show, so supportive of the podcast, and for listening because I know that you're listening. And she also shared with us throughout this year a special discount code for anyone who purchases from their online store. So if you don't know that, you should know by now because I keep sharing it here in the episode. But if you don't now, go check it out on the description. Also, Creativa by Margarita Frara. That was a new one this year. The Cake Art Magazine by Sophia Fox. Also a new one, a new addition to the podcast. Thank you, Sophia, for trusting also on the podcast. Cake the Great Magazine, one of the pioneers, sponsors of the podcast. Thank you so much, Tasnuta. And the Cake Collaborator magazine, Sharon, thank you so much. So if you're in need of a magazine, inspiration, tutorials, recipes, all of these magazines are filled with that, and they're all different from one another. So go check them all out and learn what's happening in the industry, learn tendencies, tutorials, just amazing magazines and just amazing people who are behind those magazines and who I have to thank for being so supportive of the Art Cake Coach podcast. And my friends, I won't take more of your time. When we come back, I'm going to talk about our guests, all the guests we have, and what I learned from each one of them. So don't go anywhere. Well, my friends, welcome back to this recap of 2025 for the Art Cake Coach podcast. It's time to talk about our guests. This year, I was doing the list of all the guests that I had this year, and I was like, you did it, Christina. I never thought I was going to have so many guests. I think the first year we had two, the second year we had maybe four. Last year we might have five. This year we had so many. I haven't counted them, but we had so many episodes with guests and so many guests here on the podcast. And I have to guess. I have to say, episodes with guests have a different vibe, right? So I'm gonna start with the things that I want to apologize to my guest for. I know it sounds crazy, but I do have a list of things that I want to apologize to my guests for. First of all, when I do the solo episodes, the microphone is set in a way, and because I'm talking by myself on the studio that is closed, the studio is my office, but I close it and I soundproof it. So it sounds very professional and very well done. And my voice sounds like, I'm a TV anchor. That's great. But when I have guests on the show, I don't know if it's because of the setting of all the microphones, because they're far away. Some of them do have microphones, others don't. Some of them just have headphones. I have to say sorry because I do sound very pitchy most of the time. And sometimes I'm listening, sometimes no. I listen to all the episodes on the next day as a listener just to be critical of myself because that's what I do. And when I listen, it's like, oh, Christina, come on, what voice is that? It's like, why are you talking like that? Um, but I have to say something. That's how I sound when I'm with my family and my friends. So if it helps in any way, I sound peachy because I'm having fun. I'm having fun. I love talking to you guys. I'm not thinking about the way I sound. I'm thinking about just sharing with you, listening to you, talking, asking questions, and enjoying the moment. So, yeah, sorry about that. Another thing that I want to say sorry to my guest is that when I listen back to them, I realize that I interrupt too much. I'm so sorry. I'm working on it. I'm really do. I really am working on it. And I don't want to excuse myself, but I have two things to say to you. Um, I shared here in the episodes before. Apparently, no, I am dyslexic, and I was treated for dyslexia when I was a kid for I think 3 or 4 years with therapists, with language therapists, and apparently one of the things that happens is that, and one of the things why we don't read correctly, properly, and why we, you know, stumble in our own words and mix letters is because our mind goes fast, very fast. And when I'm doing the interviews, and I saw this the other day, I saw a therapist talking about that the other day on another podcast, and I was like, oh. That's why, that's me. Because he was saying when people interrupt other people is because their process of thought it goes so fast that for them, before the other person finished, they already process it, have the answer, and they just want to reply. So I'm sorry. Okay. I'm not excusing myself. It's something that needs to be worked on. I know, but I'm sorry. And I just have to say that I do it from love and that I love you guys. And thank you so much for putting up with me. And if I do interrupt so much, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. One thing that's one of my goals to work on for next year. I'm being honest, guys. Confession time. We had to finish this year with a confession time, of course. And this is my confession time. I'm sorry. And I promise that I will try to be better. I have a tactic now. So when my guest is talking, I just mute the microphone, my microphone. So I don't go like, yeah, oh, yeah, I know. Yeah. And I constantly interrupting because actually when I edit the episodes, it's kind of a nightmare. So I have a tactic now. I have a way to do it. And I promise I will get better at it. I promise you guys. Thank you. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. But anyway, talking again about my guests. I wanted to do a little recap of all the guests that came here to the show and what I learned from them, because I do learn from everybody that sits in the other side of the microphone. Another thing that I want to say is I've had guests that are, big names in the industry, famous people, and that I would have never dreamed having. And I have other guests that are just my cake friends. Not because you guys don't matter and are not interesting and are not great in the industry, you are, but I see you as my cake friend. So with some guests, I have this almost like starstruck like thing, like, oh, I'm talking to this person on my podcast. I cannot believe it. With other people, it's just like, it's my pal. We're just in a phone call here. We're just talking. But each one of you, doesn't matter who you are, have left a learning experience on me. Have left something in this episode that is not only for my audience, it's not only for the people listening, but it's for me too. And I have to thank you for that. So I'm going to go to each one of them to thank them and tell them what I have learned from them. So the first guest of the year was Savannah, my friend Savannah from um, the Cake Business Academy. She also has a podcast, which I'm begging her to keep doing it because she stopped recording episodes and I want episodes back again because I really like her podcast. And she was here in the beginning of the year talking about coaching. I think I don't know if it was about coaching, it was about social media, what it was about. That's how much I remember now, because we talk, Savannah and I talk behind the scenes a lot, so we talk about a lot of topics. And honestly, the episode, I can look for it here, we talked about the noise in our cake industry, how much we listen to people think, what we should do, what we shouldn't do, what we have to do, and how much that stresses us. And Savannah, I have to thank you because um, you and other cake coaches who have been on the podcast, and you, because I've been recently talking to you about that. I had this idea in my head that there was room for all of us, and we had to be together. We have to keep, you know, tight as coaches in the cake business industry, because it's very new industry and it's just a handful of us. So I have to thank you for validating that I'm not the only one who thinks like that, and that we can actually make this industry inside the cake industry a beautiful industry. So thank you so much for that. We had Amy Ford and Debbie Locke talking here about the DMAs. They were nominated for the DMAs. They're nominated again this year. We had so much fun together. They are cake buddies. They are my cake buddies, and they are the kind of people that I long to see when I go to all these cake events. So I have to thank both of you just for being there, and just for being my cake friends. You guys are great. Then we had Bradley Ray Lamb, who was here with me. His story is the story of so many of us, all of us, how much we love the cake, in not the cake industry, how much we love baking cakes, making cakes for other people, and how that becomes a business and becomes a way of life. So, and it's in those little simple stories of everyday bakers. Um, and of course, he has been now on shows. He was on Is It Cake? Oh my God, I'm so happy to see him. And he just recently told me he has a big project for next year. I'm really happy to see you grow. And thank you so much for sharing your story here with us. Okay, next was our friend, and she's a resident here on the show, which is Yvonne Donald. Yvonne, if you're listening, just thank you. Just thank you for being you, for opening your doors to the podcast, to me, for being part of this podcast family, because you are part of this podcast family. You are my voice of wisdom. You and Natalie are my voice of wisdom, in the back when I need to hear something that matters. I listen to you guys, and you are that for me. You are that for the podcast. You are that counterpart that comes and asks the right questions and challenges the people who comes here. And I learn from you every time that we chat. So thank you so much for being part of the podcast family. We had with Yvonne as well, David Close, Melanie Underwood, and Jane Halton about Cake International. That was early. That was before Cake International. And we talked about what was coming for Cake International. It's always a pleasure and an honor to have them here. And I have to say, I do appreciate and I learn from these people, because they have been in this industry for so long, and they, even though if we tell, as we have been saying in here in the podcast and in other podcast, and also in no icing, that something needs to be changed, that times need to be updated. We learned so much from the people that has been here for the long run, and I just love to listen to all their wisdom and all of the things they have lived throughout all these 30 years they've been doing it. And I just wish that 30 years from now I can be doing it as well as you do. So thank you for being here on the episode. We had Ruth Moore, who was recently. Ruth Moore, thank you, Ruth, for just putting social media in such an easy way that it was like, yeah, I can do that. Yeah, I can keep up with that. And just make it simple for all of us cake decorator, cake artists, bakers to understand how to use it. It was lovely to have you here on the podcast. Natalie Freeman. I mean, if I have, uh, I don't know, if I have a business, cake business or creativity, because she not only works with cake people, but creativity business coach, um, I don't know, star crush. I know you saying. That will be Natalie. Natalie, you're an inspiration. You are a source of wisdom for all of us. You do your magic and you ask the right questions. You put the right questions in her head, and I couldn't be happier. Thank you, Yvonne, because Yvonne was the one that introduced me to Natalie. Thank you for just being part of not only the podcast but of my coaching life. Thank you, because I learn so much from you every time you're on this show. Okay, this is one of my cake starstruck things. That was Benny Rivera. Benny. I've been following Benny for a long time, and is one of those, I mean, Benny Rivera from New York City. I mean, it's like he is a rock star for our cake industry. And I contact him like, like, hi, I'm Christina, nobody from Portugal. And would you like to be on my podcast? And he was so nice, so happy. He's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. It took us a while. It has been taking us a while to get the guests because it's a time frame thing. But he was so willing to do it. And we had the most amazing conversation. It was so down to earth. We connected so well. And I learned so much from all of his stories and all of his history as a baker, cake decorator, cake artist, all the things that he had done in the industry, and I learned so much from what he believes or he faced. I mean, his learning curves. I'm not gonna say his failures, but his learning curves with having a business and having to let go of that business. Benny, I have to say, you gave me the strength. You have given me the strength to take some decisions about my business that made me realize that everything is temporary. And if you don't do it, never is going to happen. So I have to thank Benny for that. And just thank him for being on the show, because he was like, Benny's on the show. Like when you have this cake started, I mean, like starstruck cake thing, that was Benny. So thank you, Benny, for being on the show, and just for being you. I mean, it was heartwarming and heart filling to have you here on the show. So thank you so much. Nikki Lamb. Nikki has connected with me through Instagram. Is one of those cake decorators, cake artists that I follow. She follows back. I keep watching her content. She keep watching mine. And one day we were just chatting about her content. She was chatting about mine. It's like, would you like to be on the podcast? And she was like, sure, I would love to be in the podcast. I mean, it was so good. And again, another story, real story of how we all started as parents trying to make a business out of our home so we can spend more time with our family, we can be closer to our kids. And she made it happen to a successful business. And it was great having you here, because you really inspired me. And I'm sure you inspire many of other cake decorators here. We had my sweet goddaughter, Patricia Fernandez, here from Portugal. Patricia, I mean, she doesn't know how good she is. I think she does. But if she doesn't, if you're listening, Patricia, I don't know if you are, but if you're listening, you are a rock star in what you do. And you're so smart. You're so accomplished. I couldn't be prouder to be your godmother. And I cannot, I mean, she shared so many great intakes about social media with us. She's like the social media real deal. She works with a big company. I mean, she runs the social media management department of that big company that I'm not gonna say, but she knows her thing, and she had the time to sit down with us and to share insights, more in depth, more professional. I'm not gonna say that the others are not professional, but more technicality about social media. But it was so good, so many takeaways. Thank you, Patricia. Love you. We had also, I was so happy to have here Julie Defense. Julie Defense is a renowned uh, wedding cake artist who lives here in Portugal. And I think is the first person from Portugal who has been on the show. It was eye opening to talk to her because I mean she's amazing at what she does. She has, I mean, it's a reference. What she does is a reference in the wedding industry, and having her here and having her share what we have faced together as newcomers into the Portuguese cake industry, and how do we want to really make this an industry that supports each other. It was nice, very nice to talk to her. I learned so much from her. Even though I don't do wedding cakes, I learned a lot about wedding cakes on that day. And if I ever do a wedding cake, probably for my kid, that's the only wedding cake I will ever make for my kids. Now I know because I talked to Julie. Thank you, Julie, for being here on the podcast. Last but not least, Kylie Kelly. Kylie is another amazing podcaster that I found listening to her podcast. Then I replied to one of her newsletter. No, then I enrolled in her newsletter. Then I replied to her newsletter. And through that, I was like, would you like to be on my podcast? Like, I'm a fan of yours. I have this podcast. And she said yes. you know, go figure why she said yes. But I mean, she's like, I mean, Natalie is my top of wisdom. Kelly will be the second of wisdom. It's like every time I listen to Kylie Kelly's podcast, it's like, whoa, there's something good to take away from your business. And I love that she gives you a different perspective on the marketing of your business through newsletter and not social media. And she makes it so down to earth, simple, doable, reachable. Love to have you here on the show. And I'm planning, well, she invited me. So we're planning to be on her show next year. That's a little nerve wracking because I don't know what I'm going to talk about. Probably time management, probably goal setting. We'll see. We'll see. But it was lovely having you. And thank you so much for saying yes. So yes, I mean, a lot of guests this year, and I have learned so much from all of you. I'm honored. I'm just honored that you keep saying yes and that I can open the doors of my podcast house for you guys, and that you come and that you share your talent, your wisdom, your stories with all of us. So thank you so much. Don't go anywhere. I know this is getting a little bit long, but don't go anywhere because I'm about to finish the episode. Just say a big goodbye for the next year. So, my sweet friends, 2025, it's gone. Um, 2026 is coming. There's always that expectation when a new year is coming, like, yeah, it'll start fresh, start anew, um, set the goals, do the things that we didn't do. But I have to tell you, I still believe in goal setting. Goal setting is key. The thing is, I'm going to set simpler goals, you know, very simple goals that is going to keep the machine moving. That's how I focus in my goals this year. Not like the big thing, but the little things that are going to keep everything moving forward. That's what I'm thinking of goal. Um, 2026, I was talking last night with my husband, and we were talking about this crave for nostalgia, the crave for the old, going back to roots, going back to basics, uh, talking to people, sitting down on a porch or a balcony and just sipping a tea, a beer, or coffee, and talking to a friend. Um, Mismatching decorations, house that people feel that they live in. We were talking about the joy of baking cookies and having cookies. I mean, those little things that it's kind of a feeling of nostalgia. And I mentioned that in the no icing episode. And of course, before I go, I have to say that was one of the big accomplishments of this year. I have another podcast. I have No Icing Cake Talk Unfiltered. If you haven't heard about that one, go check it out. Also, the description, the links will be on the description of the episode. And it's a podcast where I keep things real and we just chat, just me or guests, about the cake industry, but with no filters, with, the truth, what we really think about it, and just trying not to make it, not embellishing it. I mean, the good, bad, and the ugly, if you can say. I mean, everything, we talk about that. And talking about that, talking about no icing. And I mentioned in the no icing episode with Yvonne Donald that there is this crave for nostalgia, because people need, the world has changed so much in the past year, has gone so fast. We have AI coming, and I mean, coming is here, and all the changes that could happen to our world, and everybody's working remote, social media, from home. I mean, we're craving going back to roots. We need that, because that makes us feel safe. So I'm going to take the words of Yvonne, and I'm going to share also what I shared with my husband yesterday. I think 2026, if I can predict, I'm not going to predict anything, but what I wish 2026 is a year to go back to roots, go back to simple, go back to human touch, go back to what really matters, really stop the noise, like I talked to Savannah at the beginning of the year, and just do what we have to do to keep being us, and keep the human touch, keep us being humans and humanity, and do what we love, and having a business that we work on our business and not for our business. Just keeping things real. That's what I wish for 2026. That's what I'm going to be doing on 2026. And I wish you all, if I can wish you all anything for next year, is all the success, all the love, health, prosperity that you deserve. And we all deserve a lot. So, yeah. That every good that you do in your day comes back to you multiplied by 1,000. That everything that the sky is bluer for you, that the grass is greener for you, that the noise of the world, of politics, of hate, of division fade away in your life, and just focus on loving yourself, loving your kin, loving your family, and just thriving on every day of your life. That's what I wish for everyone. I just recently finished watching the whole Lord of the Rings saga with my family. We started back in October, and we just finished. And when the Hobbits, if you're not a fan of Lord of the Ring, I am. And when the movie comes to the end and the Hobbits go back to their town, that's what I wish for 2026. Just to go back to town, go back to the simple life, go back to being with their families, with their friends, and and work and make things happen, but in our own little way, enjoying every day and being thankful for all the blessings that we have in our life. That's what I want for 2026. And if I can share that with you, that's what I also want for you for 2026. And of course, that you keep listening to the Art Cake Coach podcast and the No Icing podcast. Please keep listening to me. I have a lot of things to share with you, a lot of new guests to share, to be here on the podcast. We still have a lot to talk about. Yeah, we do. So, my sweet friends, this is it from 2025. See you next week in 2026. And as always, my friends, stay safe, stay creative, and Happy New Year. See you next one. Bye bye. Hey, cake friend, before you go, if you've been enjoying this episode and you are ready to take your cake business to the next level, I would love to invite you to join the Art Cake Coach Podcast Club on Spotify. Inside, you'll get access to over 17 exclusive audio classes and time management, goal setting, money mindset, and more. Everything you need to feel organized, confident, and balanced in your cake journey. And you will get one more extra class each month. You can unlock it right here on Spotify. Just tap on the link in the description of this episode.